Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I'm gonna do a Q&A finally because I know I've just been blabbing the stuff I wanted to talk about, and there's stuff you've been asking that I haven't been, addressing for the last few days. So here we go. Let's answer the questions. So I have a list here, so I'm gonna check what have you asked. Um, okay, so the first question is, can we make someone dream of us with spell work? Yes. Uh, Actually, any love working makes the target dream of you. It's pretty basic because spells work on the subconscious level, and your everyone's subconscious mind is really active during sleep. So absolutely, they will always dream of you. Okay, so second question is about readings. How often do I need to check up on my situation? As you know, guys, I love tarot readings. I really love doing tarot readings. Love, love, love. I know I'm so good at it, and I just enjoy it because we usually enjoy stuff we're good at. However, you don't need to do it at all. Number one, but if you want to check up on it, I would not advise doing it too often. So if it's like the same subject, just the same subject. If something happens, then yes. If you have some sort of feeling, confusion, yes. If nothing's changing, if you're basically having like no movement or something, it's probably the same as your last reading was. So there is no need for you to get the same reading and waste your money and for me to read the same cards. So in that case, I would advise you to go and buy yourself something for the money. um, so if it's the same topic, the same situation, if it's been some time or if there's been some sort of changes or something, then there will be changes in the energies as well. But if there hasn't been any changes, you don't need it all the time, as I always tell you. And you know that I refuse to do it too often for the same subject when there's been absolutely nothing new happening. There's just it's just pointless in that case, and I don't want anyone wasting their money. And yeah, so that's my answer. Let's continue. Okay, so third question was about separations. Okay, so separation spells. So as you know, um, just a sec. um, As you know, separations are not something that I normally do. And the reason is because with every love spell done for you, if your person is with someone else, it's just natural that they will have to separate. However, in specific situations where maybe your target has been with this person for a really long time and you two haven't been in any contact for years and years and years, those type of situations, for example, we would need we would need to do a separation. So how I do them is, if you're getting a separation and if I see that it's needed, of course you will need to get a reading, because I need to see exactly what's happening in that relationship and to see like the weak points, so I can separate them in a way that is most effective. Because if these two, for example, never fight and they're just not the type that would argue, sorry, argue, I meant to say argue, that would do those type of things, it's pointless to go for that, because it will not work most likely. Or maybe we'll get in some small argument and that will be it, they'll like be over it. It's not the way to go. You really need to take a look at what's actually going on and what is, why are they together, also what are their personalities and all sorts of stuff. So I definitely need to have a reading before, if I'm doing a separation. So in general, if you're getting any type of spell, readings are not mandatory. But if it's like separation between, people that are not you, then yes, I'm gonna have to check the cards to see what's going on there. Okay, so that is that. And while we're on the subject, I'm gonna make a meditation for people who either are getting separations or they are getting regular love spells for themselves. And there's a third person, so that's going to be helpful. I also want to mention that, if it hasn't been long after a breakup, I would not recommend a separation. In that case, I would recommend like a blockage removal, and something love wise for you, or one or the other or both, depending on a situation. Okay, let's move on. Next question. What do you think is the biggest reason why spells don't work? And okay, there's another one, but I'm going to answer this one first. So the biggest reason, well, one of the reasons is of course scammers, but I'm not going to get into that because whatever. But let's assume legit spells. Why what is the biggest reason why they don't work? I would say is the lack of patience, because people often expect to get, and I talk about this a lot, so I'm boring myself right now, but people expect to get like instant results with spell work, and that's not realistic. That's not how it works. So they're just gonna wait for a week or two, and then they're just gonna get another spell, and it's only gonna it's just gonna make things worse, basically. And their vibration just gets worse and more needy and more desperate, and that's the main reason. Impatience, I would say, is the main reason. Impatience and not working on yourself. So these two things are the main reasons, in my opinion. And you know like I said, if you have, I don't know, 200 kilos and you want to lose weight and you want to be really fit, and you start working out, and you start eating better, you can't expect to get the result you want within 2 weeks. You won't even get any improvements in 2 weeks. And the same is with magic, because magic is natural. It's not something that's how you maybe perceive it. It's quite natural. It works in a quite natural way. So magic takes time and you have to be patient. So that's number one. And number two is you really have to work on yourself and follow the instructions, basically. So those two would be the biggest reasons. Mostly both of them, honestly, like combined, impatience and just being in the wrong vibration, both of it. But yeah, there's a lot of impatient people out there who just, if it hasn't worked in 2 weeks, oh no, it's not going to work. Well, it really, really rarely will work within 2 weeks, and this is exactly why I I have the possibility of you posting review on my page. And like I said, reviews are optional, and most people decide not to do them for privacy reasons and stuff, and that's fine. However, those that do, what I want them to do is always to talk honestly about how long it took and everything they had to like do vibrational wise, so people can actually see what the process is like in reality. um that's really important to understand, because you're gonna see some people do get really fast results, and that will depend on the situation, on the target, and on your vibration. But for the most part, if it's a hard situation, it will take like months, and that's the honest truth. And if you're not willing to wait for it, what can I say? it's your own choice. So it's up to you. But I will not lie and say, oh yeah, it's gonna happen in 2 weeks or in a month, because highly unlikely that's gonna be how it's gonna go. Okay, and now for the next part of the question is maybe some things that we don't really think about and that can block us. Okay, so I had to think about this one because all the usual stuff that tend to block us, I've talked about, and we already covered it. So I just didn't want to repeat myself and bore you guys. But I was like honestly thinking about the things that have blocked me when I was doing spells. Well, I still do spells for myself, but when I was doing love spells for myself, because that those are the spells that are most likely to be blocked by us. What were like the things that maybe we don't talk about as much, that tend to block things or delay things? And one of them is really limiting the limiting how it will happen, basically. Because what I hear often from people is, for example, oh, I know they will not reach out first because they never did before, or oh, they will not reach out because they blocked me. And there's you just limiting yourself and blocking yourself, because yeah, they can unblock you and they can reach out first. Why wouldn't they? Just because they haven't so far, because you've been always the one reaching out, so they never had to. It doesn't mean that they're not capable to or willing to. So for example, me, I was limiting myself in a way that I had the idea how the spell needs to manifest, and I wouldn't accept any other way. So for example, when I was trying to bring back an ex, when I was doing a spell, I was specifically asking for a certain scenario, because I was so convinced that this is the only scenario that can happen. And it had to go like him seeing me somewhere in a bar, and then after that him texting me, because I was so convinced that he will not text without seeing me in a bar. And I was like, this is the only way it's gonna go. And it took a really long time, because I wasn't open to any other way, and universe couldn't just surprise me and find a way, because I insisted on this. When I was doing the spell, I was actually like meditating this scene, and this is how I wanted to go, and that's it. And it took really long, because obviously the situation had to be arranged when we will both be at the same bar. And it did happen, and he did text me the next day. So it did happen. However, I could have been open to, whichever way universe wants this to happen, or finds the easiest and fastest solution to happen. And this is how you should be, and you should honestly really be open for different type of opportunities and chances, and don't limit your person either by thinking they can't reach out first, they won't do this, they won't do that, because you're really creating a block there. So you just have to be aware that miracles happen all the time, that people change all the time, that our energies, when they change, when we change internally, when our energy changes, people react differently to us as well. And then they have the chance to maybe do some things they wouldn't done before, because they were getting needy and desperate energy from us, and now they're not anymore. So really open yourself for all possibilities, and just trust that everything is possible, because believe me guys, everything is possible. But you have to be open for that. If you're gonna be like, oh no, it can't happen like that, and just limit yourself to one certain way, and that situation is really hard to be arranged, it's gonna take longer. So just be open to everything, and believe in miracles, and believe in magic, because it does work and it is real. And yes, you can get your ex back, and yes, you can get a job, and you can get so many stuff and you can be so happy, but you really have to believe it to begin with, that it's possible. So I hope that helps. I'm gonna end it now because it's been 15 minutes and I don't want to make it too long. Okay, bye.